Welcome to the Sons of Cain, the cover drill, audio descriptive version.
Hi guys, we are at disclaimer time. We've put up a few videos and we've had a few comments, but one of the things we'd like to point out, we all have different abilities and different disabilities. So I know I'm not the world's greatest kicker or puncher, but I do it to the limit of my injury, because I do have a spinal injury which causes me problems every now and then. I do have a shoulder injury, so again it affects my movement and ability sometimes. So we welcome your comments, but please bear in mind we are not claiming to be the world champions at this or anything we do. It's just the limits of our abilities that we are actually doing.
The Sons of Cain logo and intro music. Chris and Kev are in the dojo. Kev is on the right in his wheelchair. Chris is standing next to him on the left.
Okay. What we're looking at this time is we're looking at some covering drills with the cane, but also empty hand. I've trained with a couple of guys. I've trained with a few guys you might know, Ian Abernathy, Carl Cooper, and various other people, and they sometimes called a covering drill, Carl Cooper's toxic fighting system, and we've taken a look at this, and essentially flinch reaction, you're covering up.
Chris raises his hands, palms up, places both palms on the top of his head, elbows facing forward. There is a small gap between the arms to allow for vision.
And then you're protecting the head from attacks, and then you're doing your counters. Works well in the chair. So if I was to attack Kev,
Chris approaches Kev to attack him. Kev raises his arms, palms up, and places his hands on the top of his head. His elbows are facing forwards, and there is a slight gap between his arms to allow for vision. As Chris punches and slaps at Kev to try to hit his head, Kev is sliding his hands on his head and moving his top half of his body to block the strikes.
and his only reaction, he hasn't got his cane, he's covering up. As I'm coming in, he can move. So all I'm doing is looking for a spot, and he's covering, he's moving his elbows, and he's got a line of sight. The other thing he's doing is looking at my hips. So as I'm moving to punch, you can actually see where I'm going. Now, at the moment, I'm doing this gently with open hands. Ideally, you want to be wearing gloves and be going a bit harder. I have done this, I've punched the elbow, I've hurt my hand, damaged my wrist for a bit. So again, it's a cover-up drill. Very quick, anyone can do it. We also do this same thing, as we said before, with the cane. We can bring it up, we can cover, and we've got this whole system here.
Both Chris and Kev have their Cane Master canes in their right hand. They both raise the arm holding the cane and bring the arm to a 90-degree bend. The cane is now resting on their right shoulder, with the crook facing forwards and the tip facing backwards over the shoulder behind them. With their left hand, they place it on the right elbow with their knuckles facing outwards. The alternative position is to have the cane resting on the left shoulder.
Exactly the same thing, or you can bring it across the body. Again, we're covering, we're protecting, but we've got the added advantage of the cane this time. So again, what I'm looking at, I come in, he's there. I try and come in, whatever I do, he's covered. He's got a strike. Now here's the things with the strike. We're just going to slowly introduce some pressure points. So we've got what we call the third eye point and gallbladder 21, which will be here, which is in the centre of the forehead, and the temples. So again, if I'm coming in...
For the first strike, as Chris is slowly attacking Kev, Kev grabs Chris's left arm with his left hand, trapping Chris's right arm in the process. Kev is now using the crook part of the cane in his right hand in a hammer fist motion to strike Chris in his third eye position, which is situated at eye line directly in the middle of both eyes.
He can either clear the cane, or he's striking here, or swinging round with this piece, or with the shaft, and he's going to be striking the side of the head. So as I'm coming in, he's locked me up, and he's striking.
For the second strike, as Chris is slowly attacking Kev, Kev uses his left arm and hand to sweep Chris's arms away from him left to right. Kev, with the cane in his right hand, uses a hammer strike, which is a side strike from left to right, to hit Chris in his right temple, which is situated halfway between Chris's ear and eye.
So these are two of the vital points of the bubushi. Okay guys, we're going to do that with a bit more of intent. As we said before, it's no good training with a partner who will fall for you or react to you without you having actually done the technique correctly. So when we're looking at this, I'm going to put on a head guard. Well, the other thing Kev's done for me is he's changed his cane. This is a walnut cane from Grandmaster Mark Shuey, Cane Masters, as we always use. He put down his hickory cane because if he makes a mistake with his standard cane, I'm going to be at the very least knocked out. At least with the walnut cane, it's a great walking cane, good for trapping, good for locks, but it's not as dense, so I've got more chance of not being knocked out. So again, look at your training equipment, will it suit? So what we're looking at, and I'm just going to put my head guard on.
Chris has put a head guard on. Kev will be attacking the forehead, which is the third eye point, and the strike is actually pushing through the head to the back of the head.
So we're not going to go from the guard position. All he's going to do is use the crook of the cane, and what you're doing is aiming for this point here. When you aim for this point here, your intention is for it to come out at the base of the skull. So I'm here.
Okay?
Yeah. That was a light tap, but that put me out of action for a second or two. And as you can imagine, that's a long time for your opponent to do nothing if you're being attacked. So that was a gentle tap, through a head guard, a lot of reaction. He just gently does the side of the head.
This is the second strike. From right to left, Kev is using the crook of the cane to hit Chris's left temple.
Slightly worse. Okay, but if you train to stop, you will stop. So again, if you're concerned about hitting too hard, what you can do as you strike, you're hitting gently, but you're following the cane through and allowing yourself to go through as the strike would come. So you don't get into this habit of striking without actually making contact. We have had incidents of students who practice like this, they've gotten into an altercation and they've stopped their strike short. So please practice with intent, carefully, with equipment, and make sure you follow through with your techniques.
We tend to use 1/10 intensity and 1/8 speed. For the cane user, you'll find that people will grab your cane, and we've done videos about that with the sticky cane. But for safety's sake, it's horrible being hit, and it's horrible being the person that actually hits someone, especially as a training partner and friend.
Thank you for listening to our first audio descriptive version of our training videos. New videos every Wednesday and Saturday, and we will try and upload audio descriptive on a Sunday. Please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, make some comments, let us know what you want to see, and if you ring the bell, the notification bell next to the subscribe button, you'll get an email announcing when we've got new videos.